There are rumors currently swirling around that Silver Dollar City may be removing the 50-year-old Fire in the Hole. And what are their plans to replace it with? Fire in the Hole. That's right, there are rumors that Silver Dollar City is going to remove the original Fire in the Hole and replace it with another Fire in the Hole, this time over in the Fireman's Landing section of the park. And what's actually really interesting is that even though the park has said nothing about this specific event going to take place, there is some significant evidence that this is actually going to happen. Now, for those that aren't aware, I'm going to give you some general details about Fire in the Hole. So, Fire at the Hole has been operating at Silver Dollar City since 1972, and it's the oldest roller coaster currently still operating at the park. It's kind of this weird dark ride roller coaster hybrid, and really the only reason it's a roller coaster is the little few hills that are towards the end of the ride, as well as the splashdown. You heard me right, this roller coaster indoors has a splashdown. And that is one of the many quirky things about this ride that quite honestly probably makes it one of the most unique roller coasters in the world. Now, for those that also aren't aware, Fire in the Hole has a sister roller coaster at Dollywood in the form of Blazing Fury, which is a very, very similar ride. Now, one of the main differences about Fire in the Hole, and this is going to become a big topic and why this is happening, is Fire in the Hole has not received as much refurbishments as Blazing Fury has. I believe it was a little over a decade ago that Blazing Fury had a large refurbishment in which the splashdown at the end of the ride was removed. Blazing Fury has also had a ton of track replaced across its lifetime, though those same things have not been done to Fire in the Hole. And that's one of the big things that's talked about in this article from Screamscape, which Screamscape, reliable source most of the time, is the source that is giving us the information, most of the information, and gathering it together about this potential replacement Fire in the Hole over in Fireman's Landing. Screamscape points out that there are some rumors going around that Fire in the Hole may not be in a state of structural stability to be around for much longer. In a sense, Fire in the Hole is a aging ride. Now, as the article points out, that doesn't mean that the ride isn't safe, of course, but it just means that the ride is nearing the end of its lifetime, which is something that all roller coasters go through. Now, according to the article from Screamscape, Silver Dollar City realizes that they have an aging ride on their hands, is that at some point they have to remove it or replace it with something. And that's something that, according to this article, Silver Dollar City has known for a couple of years now, and they've been planning accordingly for that. Now, another thing you need to know is that Fire in the Hole is a incredibly iconic attraction for Silver Dollar City. Not only is it one of the, original major attractions at the park, but it kind of has somewhat of a cult following to it. And even though I've actually only ridden it a few times and only have been to the park once, I can say I put myself in the group of people that has a soft spot for a ride like Fire in the Hole. So because of that, Silver Dollar City, of course, realizes that if they were just to completely remove the ride, that would probably not end up going in their favor. So Silver Dollar City realizes that they have to do something about this to keep the ride around, or just the vision of the ride around. So what better to do than build another Fire in the Hole? Now, for those that also aren't aware, there's a specific area of the park known as Fireman's Landing, and this is a family-geared area. There's some cool attractions. I think the main attraction in this area that I've done is an SNS drop tower. Though, what's very interesting is while Fire in the Hole is themed to firefighting and things of that nature, it is in a completely different section of the park, when, as most people would realize, it would make a lot more sense for Fire in the Hole to actually be in the Fireman's Landing section of the park. So, to accommodate that, Silver Dollar City has basically decided, it seems, that they are going to tear down Fire in the Hole where it is and build a new Fire in the Hole in Fireman's Landing. Now, a lot of people would be like, well, that doesn't make sense. I just don't see how that would happen. There's not really any evidence. To which I would say, there is a lot of evidence. If you actually look at this image on Google Maps from a few months ago, you can see that what was actually an old employee parking lot behind the Fireman's Landing area has been completely flattened. And more importantly, if you look at these photos as cited in the article from Screamscape, if you look at these photos from the Midwest Info Guide, you will see that Silver Dollar City has begun the construction of a giant show building. A show building, may I add, that could fit a ride the size of Fire in the Hole inside of it. So when I first saw this article when I was looking on Screamscape, I was a skeptic to this idea, but as I read through it, looked at the evidence, it is incredibly likely that this is indeed going to be the show building for the replacement for Fire in the Hole, and that Fire in the Hole is going to be torn down and then rebuilt essentially in the show building from scratch. And even more, if you say, oh, well, maybe they're just building an event space over here, or maybe they've turned this employee parking lot, maybe they're building just a backstage building, like a maintenance area or something of that nature. You'll notice that towards a certain side of the building, that there is an area in which the roof is significantly shorter. And this is actually very similar to what you see on the current show building for Fire in the Hole, in which a very front portion of the building has a significantly shorter roof that houses the ride's part of the ride's indoor queue. So, if you look at this little front portion that's shorter, it's very likely that I think this area could house not just some of the indoor queue, but possibly part of the station as well. And if that wasn't enough, you can see in a specific photo, you can see kind of this concrete box that they've built towards the back edge of the show building, farthest away from the nearest pathway that you can view the construction of this. And that looks very similar to the concrete box, essentially, that holds the water for the splashdown on the current Fire in the Hole. And if you think about the positioning of the station and how the ride layout currently works for Fire in the Hole, that splashdown on the current Fire in the Hole is on the left side of the show building towards the closest area to the station. And this specific concrete pool that they've built is in a similar location. So all of these details together line up for this being a show building for a replacement Fire in the Hole. So if we look at all this details together, again, it looks like this is a replacement for Fire in the Hole. Now, there are a few questions that we have to ask ourselves now that we've I'm just going to say we've accepted that this is indeed a replacement for Fire in the Hole, which, I mean, if you would have told me this even yesterday, I would have said that you were crazy before seeing this article. So we have to ask ourselves a few questions. So first of all, what is the year that this is going to be opening? Now, it seems that that Screamscape claims that Silver Dollar City is going to be opening this up in 2023. And considering how far, even in May, that they are on the construction of the show building, I would say that 2023 seems to be a reasonable year of completion for the ride. If they end up doing a little bit more with it, this could possibly be a 2024 edition, but I think we know it's probably going to be 2023, and then maybe 2024. Now, the other question we have to ask ourselves, and I think this is the most important question, is how true is Silver Dollar City going to stay to the original ride? Now, to me, it actually looks like, from the layout that they're kind of making with the show building, that this is actually going to stay pretty similar to the original ride. Now, I think at least kind of the layout that it goes around, as the roller coasters gaining elevation on the powered rail, moving slowly up in a circular motion before going through the drops. It kind of seems like that they're going to keep that same layout. The only thing is I wonder how original they're going to keep most of the scenes. I would have a feeling that they're going to try to update a lot of the scenes, because a lot of the scenes, while they're quirky and classic in the original ride, they're showing a lot of age. So I have a feeling that Silver Dollar City would really want to go in and try to update not just the ride system itself, but also really try to update the scenes and just make them look new again and current. Though, while there may be some slight differences in the layout, I have a feeling that they're going to be keeping a very similar layout to the ride, as the show building looks to be a similar size, and it just looks like things are going to line up to be very similar with the layout. Now, the last question I think we have to ask ourselves is, which manufacturer is going to build the coaster? Now, there's a question if there will even be a manufacturer that will be contracted, because for those that don't know, Fire in the Hole was built by Silver Dollar City themselves. And so I'm not entirely sure if Silver Dollar City would choose to go and build the ride themselves, or if they would contract out with a manufacturer. And again, for that, I'm not entirely sure. I have a feeling that Silver Dollar City may actually lean towards working with a manufacturer, because it's of higher probability that if they didn't build the ride in-house, that it would just end up being a higher quality ride system that would end up lasting longer. And then you have to ask, well, what manufacturer would they go with? And when it comes to that, there are a few that come to mind. I actually would think Intamin. Intamin, like with their multi-dimensional coasters, kind of has done dark ride coasters in the past. That's kind of a thing they do. So I think it's possible that they could go with Intamin. Though Herschend has not worked with Intamin really at all. So I think the fact that there's not a relationship established could mean that Herschend would decide to go with another company instead. I think the second company that may kind of be in the running is Vekoma. Vekoma has done some work recently with Herschend Family Entertainment. They built Dragonflyer, which is at Dollywood, Silver Dollar City's sister park. So I think it could actually make sense for Silver Dollar City to work with Vekoma, since they've kind of established a little bit of a relationship with the company. Vekoma has also had some work doing family coasters. They've done some really, really good family dark ride coasters for the Disney parks, most recently with the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster at Epcot. And then they've also done a lot of great work doing some other unique family coaster rides around the world. So I have a feeling that if they were to work with a manufacturer, I think the most likely one that they would actually choose is Vekoma, since they kind of have a pre-established relationship with the company. Now, in summary, this is an insane thing that we have going on here, and while it's still technically kind of a rumor, I think it's a little bit more confirmed than it is a rumor. I still could be wrong. There's always a possibility that I could be wrong, so I'm not saying that this is 100% true, but I think it's very, very likely that this is indeed going to be a replacement for Fire in the Hole. And while there are a lot of details that aren't confirmed yet, I think, just the main thing is that Fire in the Hole is going to go away, and it's going to be replaced with Fire in the Hole. So tell me in the comments below what you think about this whole deal that's happening here. Tell me your thoughts on this, especially if you're someone that lives near Silver Dollar City. I want to know kind of your thoughts on this as someone that may have been going to this park for a long time. So thank you for watching. Share this video around. It doesn't seem like this whole deal here about this replacement Fire in the Hole has been getting around. So try to get this out. Try to share it with some people so we can maybe try to get some more information about it, and then hopefully get some more information from the park in the future. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.